Good morning. How are you? I've got a big day coming up today, and I just wanted to touch base about it because it's something that's been really playing in my head for a while. A beautiful friend of mine, Baden Uren, who is head of entrepreneurship at Bond Uni, has invited me to speak as part of his demo day today that they run at Bond Uni. I think there's 7 local Gold Coast entrepreneur, business, startup, community people speaking at the event tonight. And when he asked me, I kind of felt really weird about it. As a stay-at-home mum who started my own business and really keeps my business relatively small, I guess I was worried about what I would be there to talk about, how I would be viewed as a kind of stay-at-home mum who started a business. I've always kind of been able to, I guess, kind of hide behind that mumpreneur word. There are so many strong females who are kicking ass in business. But I guess as a stay-at-home mum with my own business, and at the start, it didn't really matter that I made any money or not. It was really to stop me going nuts, to be honest. I just wasn't fantastic full-time mama. My brain just needed something else. And so to be asked to speak at this event amongst the startup community and people who are probably looking, a lot of people who may be looking for a global exposure, capital venture on a big scale, who are really looking at things to make a worldwide difference, that understanding my place within that event has felt really intimidating. I think in many ways it kind of forced me to stand up and say, I guess, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a person who had a vision, created a business, screwed it up, rechanged it, made it viable, and then have looked at ways to expand it and have really found my passion through that business. And so I'm actually really privileged to be asked now. There's a lunch event on today, and I've been too uncomfortable to go to it because I worry that people use terminology that I don't know, and that everyone will be talking about their global vision. But I think what entrepreneurship really means to me, and what it has really done for me, is I'm a person who gets bored really easily. So I have pretty much equal left and right brain. I'm lucky enough to have the smart stuff and the artistic stuff too. And this journey of Cake to the Rescue has really allowed me to wake up as a creative one day, and then the next day wake up as a businesswoman, and to be challenged on all sides of that, to be able to be creative and to be a businesswoman and entrepreneurial is a really exciting thing. I'm also a person who spent my entire life wondering where the hell I'm supposed to stand. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but always wondering whether I'm in the right spot, always wondering whether what I'm doing is good enough, whether I should be more or less, however that should be. And what entrepreneurship has done for me is it's really allowed me to grow as a human being, to test things, to place myself into an environment where others can also offer to me what might be important to them or what they see as my gifts and values. And within this Cake to the Rescue journey, it's become kind of clear that my superpower, if you want to call it that, or my zone of genius, or my place to sit in the world, is actually my willingness to be extremely open, extremely vulnerable, and to connect with people on that level. And that's what Cake to the Rescue has really allowed me to do. It's allowed me to go into mothers' homes and say, you're good enough, just as you are. And it started off just saying it through cake, really. And in fact, I wasn't really even intending to say it through cake at first. Really, it was that I was just really good at coming up with simple, easy designs, and it was something I knew I could help people with. But what happened is over time I realized that half of the problem of why someone doesn't want to make a homemade cake, or they might feel intimidated by it, is worrying that they won't be good enough, worrying that they'll be judged, worrying that other parents might mock them or laugh at them, or they'll let their child down. And it became really clear that actually one of the biggest goals for me and the biggest things I can achieve as an entrepreneur and as a person who has a community and a social voice is that actually mums are really need support. Mums need to be championed. Mums need positive environment, and mums need a place where people can say what you're giving is good enough. I always say that the perfect homemade cake, that the ingredients of a homemade perfect cake is nothing to do with what it looks like. It's about the love that you give and the time that you took, because children just need two things: your love and your time, and everything else is so inconsequential. And so what's been beautiful with this journey is now 8 years into it, I've really been able to get down and focus into that. And it really, it drives me every day. It creates that entrepreneurial purpose. It looks at other ways to expand. I've just written an online course for parents, or particularly mums really, who don't have a lot of business savvy, that want to go into business and want to start this entrepreneurial journey, that they can learn the basics in the ways that I screwed it up. So the entrepreneurial journey really has allowed me to do so much more than I ever dreamt possible. And so as much as I hate to admit it, I am an entrepreneur. I always kind of felt like I was just a mum that had started her own business and was just trying to get something to work, and while she was at home with her kids. And then, of course, it became profitable and it became successful. And then we developed this community. And from that understanding of my gifts has now come the online courses, speaking, being invited to Bond Uni. And so I'm going to spend today writing down what those changes are for me, what those achievements are for me, and trying to recognize what my entrepreneurial journey is, so that I can step into it with pride tonight, so that I'm not going to feel like the 44-year-old mother of three who's been let out of the kitchen to come and speak at Bond Uni with all these smart startup entrepreneurs. and recognize that that you can be a smart entrepreneur from your home. From your kitchen sink, from your family life, and that an entrepreneur just doesn't have to be someone who wants to take over the world. An entrepreneur can be someone who just wants to find that thing that makes them glow. For me, it's a mixture of creative and business. It's connection. An entrepreneur journey is about saying, what is it I want for my life, and how do I judge success to me? About 2 years ago now, I had a phone call from a community in Sydney who invited me. That I'd been recognised as a person that they felt could be fast-tracked into the US, and they wanted to put me in front of a whole lot of investors and such like. And I politely declined. And the answer I got was, oh, so you're just a hobby business. You're not taking this seriously. And I found it exceptionally patronising. That global dominance, that taking yourself to America, that living on a big scale is what denotes whether you are a successful entrepreneur or that you should be taken seriously. Because the reality is that in life, you need to have really only two jobs. Well, the first job is to find someone to spend it with, find people who you want to be around that make you feel good about yourself and that you want to love and they love you in return. And secondly, that you spend your time doing exactly what you want to do in your life. And so for me, sleepless nights worrying about a global business and its finances, or having lots of employees so that I no longer get to be Baker Girl Lou and I end up being the runner of a global company, or managing a whole lot of other people rather than connecting with my community, just didn't really become something that I wanted to do. I got married when I was 22. I've been looking after other people my whole life. And I actually want to have some fun in my life. And I want to make an amount of income that makes me happy, that allows me to live where I want to live. But I want to have the time to enjoy my life too. I want to travel with my husband. My kids are leaving school. And so what I would say is that an entrepreneur doesn't just have to be someone who's global, that entrepreneurship is actually an opportunity to allow everyday people to achieve everything that they want to achieve, that they can be a stay-at-home mom part-time, that they can have their own career, that they can find the perfect job for them that fills their soul up. I struggled so hard to find a job that met my business needs and my emotional needs and my creative needs. And I just think that entrepreneurship is the answer for so many people. And so as I go through today and I look at what I've learned and my successes, I'm going to really go in there tonight to promote the everyday entrepreneur. Not the people who are looking to be a unicorn, not the people who are necessarily global changers, but I actually think if we can change the attitude of people on a day-to-day level, if more people can realize the value of entrepreneurship to actually gain their balance in their life, and most importantly, your mental health. It's amazing how good your mental health is when you're doing what you love and when you have balance in your life. And so I'm going to really go through that today, and I'm going to stand up proud tonight. I might even wear my apron. I don't know what I'm going to wear. I feel like I'm going to be this middle-aged lady and everyone else will be fabulous. But I'm going to be proud. And so for all of you new entrepreneurs, you everyday entrepreneurs who might not even view yourself as an entrepreneur, but just a small business owner, there's a really interesting dynamic between business owner and entrepreneur and what those two things mean. I see you and I'm proud of you. And we actually have an ability to change the everyday living of people. And if there are more of us, then that everyday satisfaction is probably more universally important than one great big change. So, yeah, that's my thoughts for today. I have to admit, I think I might just be an entrepreneur. I'll let you know how I go tonight. Cheers.